Hello, dear DSC candidates. Welcome back to my Grammar for Success channel. I am Koresh Babu, a retired lecturer in English from Hyderabad. In today's video, I am going to teach you the poem Daffodils. These are all the daffodils. You can watch these daffodils here. And this poem was written by William Wordsworth. And this poem is going to be very, very important for your DSC examination. Therefore, I request all of you to watch this video till the end without skipping it in the middle. And I also request all of you to consider subscribing to my channel and also sharing this video with all your near and dear ones. Thank you so much. Now, let's get into the video. Let us look at this title of the poem, Daffodils. These are all the daffodils, beautiful daffodils. They are in gold color, yellow color. So that's why they are called golden daffodils, right? And this poem was written by William Wordsworth. All of you know pretty well about this great world famous William Wordsworth, and he needs a little introduction, okay? And here this poem, about this poem and about this poet, I would like to speak with you a few words. All of you know very well that Wordsworth was a world famous, well-known poet, English poet, all of you know very well. And this Wordsworth was born in 1717 in England, and he was a great influential romantic poet. And he was not only a great poet, but also a great worshipper of nature. And because he was greatly motivated by nature, he was greatly inspired by nature. And therefore, in almost all his poems, you can find only the theme of nature, the beautiful nature. So that is the love he has for this beautiful nature. He thinks that this nature is a permanent source of joy and delight to his heart. And that's why he loves nature very much. And that is there. And another important point about this is his close association with S.T. Coleridge has led to the publication of lyrical ballads in 1798, and that is considered a great poem in the English literature. And because of his greatness, he was appointed as the poet laureate of England in 1834 or so, and he remained in that high position till 1850, in which he died. So he died in 1850. Till then, he continued in that prestigious position. So this is, in this way, about this poem also I can tell you a few words. Poem, this Daffodils is one of the most celebrated and most beloved poems of Wordsworth. And this poem was written in 1804, you know very well. 2 years after this Wordsworth had seen this beautiful sight of golden daffodils beside the lake of Ullaswater. And if I keep on telling you about this poem and the poet orally, you may not retain all of them in your mind. And that is why I have given all those important points here on these slides, and I'm going to explain all of them one by one. And please pay a very good attention to these important things. They might be very, very important for your examination. So you please learn all of them. Okay. And now I'll be giving you a few points about the poet. And here about the poet. William Wordsworth was born in 1717 in Cockermouth, Cumberland, in the Lake District. That you know very well, right? So it's a very simple fact, very important from your examination point of view. And he was an influential English romantic poet. He was a romantic poet, but a very influential romantic poet. Not ordinarily romantic poet, but influential English romantic poet. Okay. And next, he was a great worshipper of nature. I have already told you about this. He was a great lover of nature. He was a great worshipper of nature because he was deeply inspired by nature. He was deeply motivated by nature. He was deeply moved by this nature, which became later on a central theme in almost all of his poetry. So that is also, these are all very, very important points from your examination point of view. Therefore, keep all of them in your mind. And now let's go on to learn other important things. Wordsworth attended Cambridge University but felt more at home in the countryside. He attended Cambridge University. Universities will be generally located where? In the big cities. And here Wordsworth did not like to live in the cities, but he liked to live in the countryside. Therefore, here one point is given. He felt more at home. At home in the sense, more comfortable in the countryside. Countryside means in the village, in the rural areas, because you can find beautiful scenery, okay, trees, flowers, and all kinds of things you can find in nature. He would like to enjoy all of them. That is why he likes to live in the countryside. He feels more comfortable to live in the countryside than to live in the big cities like Cambridge. Okay, Cambridge is a very big city, right? And here this point is okay. And you go to the next one. His early years were marked by the death of his parents. So his parents expired or passed away only when he was a little boy. Okay, and which had a profound impact. Profound means a very deep impact on him. When you lose your parents, the loss of those parents will be very much on you. Okay, you cannot cope with other things, the daily things, or with any other things, so it is like that. So here that had cast a profound impact on him. That point is there. And next, in 1775, he met Samuel Taylor Coleridge, that is S.T. Coleridge, with whom he developed a close friendship. And this friendship later on turned into literary friendship, literary partnership also. Right. And here their collaboration led to the publication of lyrical ballads in 1798. I have already told you about this point. What is meant by lyrical ballads? Here it is mentioned, a collection that marked the beginning of the Romantic era in English literature. So here this book, this book of poems, lyrical ballads, has created a great impact on the English literature. So it is, even today it is remembered. Okay, this book of poems is remembered even today also in the English literature, and it is prescribed for MA English literature students in the syllabus. So here it is there. Now let's move on to learn other things. Lyrical ballads included Wordsworth's famous preface also. Preface means the foreword before the book, there will be a foreword. That preface is there. That preface, you can find the famous preface in that, which outlined his poetic principles. Okay, in that preface he tells us about the poetic principles and about the use of ordinary language and themes. See, when you write poetry, you should not use bombastic words or very tough words or high sounding words. That should be, what is that, the words used in that poetry should be very simple, so simple that even a layman, an ordinary man, can also understand that. So that's why here in those days, people used to think if a standard language is used in the poetry, that would be called poetry. So that from that feeling, people have come down to that level where you can write a poem that is understandable even to a layman. For that, I would like to give you some examples. One day, what happened on a big stage, Vishwanatha Satyanarayana, and some famous poets were seated on the dais, and they were reading out their poems, and Sri Sri was also there. So all have read their poems in tough Sanskrit words. Krishna Dvaipa, something like that. They read out the poem that was not understandable to the audience that were present there. In the meanwhile, this Sri Sri got up and read out his poem. Padandi munduku, padandi tosuku, padandi pai paiki. When he read out this poem in a simple language, all the audience seated there laughed at him, saying, hey, is this poetry? I too can write this kind of poetry. And when one of the audience and one of the people has said this, this man did not feel otherwise, and Vishwanath Satyanarayana and other great poets were seated on the dais. They laughed at Sri Sri. Then Sri Sri said, yes, I want that from you. I want not this poetry which nobody can write, but that I want everybody to write the poetry. The poetry must be as simple as possible. You have to write poetry only using ordinary language. So the same, you can say, ideology which Sri Sri had in his mind. That's why Sri Sri's poems are all simple. You too can understand, I too can understand, anybody can understand. Not only that, even Wordsworth poems are also very simple, very easy, very understandable. You too can read this Daffodils poem and you can understand. It is such a simple poem. That's why, because he likes to use the ordinary language and ordinary themes, not the tough and difficult themes. Love is a simple theme. Beauty is a simple theme. Okay, so like that, such simple themes and easy themes he used in his poetry. So that's why in the preface of the lyrical ballads, this Wordsworth has mentioned all of them, the poetic principles and also the importance of ordinary language and themes in the poetry. So these two things he explained in the preface to this lyrical ballads. Right, and now let's move on to learn other things. Wordsworth's major works include, what are Wordsworth's major works? Here you pay attention. Tintern Abbey, very, very famous. Okay, right. And here, Ode, Intimations of Immortality. And this poem is prescribed for you for study. Okay, and questions may be given from this also. And I try to teach because it's a lengthy poem. I may not teach you all the poem, but I can only give you the summary, the overview of that poem. That much only I can do. Right, and some important points. And here you see that the prelude, an autobiographical poem. So later on, 1, 2, 3. These are the 3 major works he had finished in his lifetime. And this prelude is an autobiographical epic. Autobiographical means telling about his own life. Autobiography, self-biography, life story is called autobiography. So autobiographical epic this is. Okay, this was published posthumously. Posthumously means after the death of this Wordsworth. Okay, that is there. Now let us learn other important things. In 1843, he was appointed poet laureate. Poet laureate means Asthana Kavi, something like that, kingdom poet of the United Kingdom. To the United Kingdom, to the UK, or to England, he was appointed poet laureate. It is a prestigious position he held until his death in 1850. So until his death in 1850, he held this prestigious position of poet laureate. Okay, right. Here he was known for his profound connection to nature. He was very much connected to nature, and because he loves nature, he likes nature, he worships nature. That is why he has got a profound connection to nature, and also exploration of human emotion. When you look at some beautiful scenery, what happens? Automatically your heart will respond to that. When I first saw the Niagara Falls, I was very much thrilled by that beautiful sight. Water falling from a big height, and there will be some kind of fog after falling. That there will be a mist-like thing you can find there. So that was so fantastic. Water will be falling down, and the boats will be going up to there and coming back. So that is there. So human reaction is wonderful. Whenever you look at some beautiful scenery, you immediately react to that. There is nobody on the earth who doesn't react to a beautiful scenery, beautiful sight. So that is there. This exploration of human emotion. His works had left an indelible and lasting influence on English literature. All his poems, all his works of poetry have left an indelible means which you cannot wipe out. Indelible and lasting influence on English literature. Okay, the last one here is he died in 1850. You know very well. So this is all about Wordsworth. Keep all these important points in your mind because they may be very important for your examination. 1 or 2 questions may be given from these important points. So anyway, get acquainted with all these important points. That is my opinion. Right. And now let's move on to learn about the poem. Okay. Now I'm going to talk to you something about the poem. Okay. And here the poem Daffodils was written by William Wordsworth in 1804. I have already told you about this year, 1804. This Wordsworth seeing this beautiful sight of daffodils happened in 1802. In 1802, he happened to see that beautiful sight of golden daffodils beside the lake of Ullaswater. And after 2 years, remembering that beautiful sight he had seen 2 years ago, he wrote this beautiful poem. Of course, though he wrote this poem in 1804, it was published in 1807. That point is also clear. And now you go to the next one. Daffodils is one of Wordsworth's most famous and beloved poems. I have already told you about that. It's Wordsworth's most famous, most beloved poems. And it's not only for Wordsworth, even for the English lovers, English literature lovers also. This is a very very interesting poem, very beloved poem that is there. And here the poem Daffodils is also known by another title, I Wandered Lonely as a Cloud. This is the first line of the poem, and with this line also the poem Daffodils is also well known. Some people say daffodils, some people say I wander lonely as a cloud. So this title is also there in existence. Okay, that point you have to understand. So here one more point is here. It is well known for its simplicity. This poem is a simple poem. It is noted for simplicity. It is noted for emotional depth. When the poet has seen that beautiful sight of golden daffodils, he was very much thrilled. He was very much filled with the ecstasy of joy, the ecstasy of delight. So that was the reaction, emotional depth and impressive description of nature. In this poem, if you read this poem, you understand that Wordsworth has described nature in a beautiful way, in simple language, but in a beautiful way. That's very important, right? Let's go to learn other important things about the poem. Now let us look at the other points of the poem. This lyric poem, Daffodils, is a beautiful lyric poem. That point is also there. It has 4 stanzas, right? One point. Stanza means a set of lines of poem is called a stanza. Okay, in that stanza 2 lines may be there, 3 lines may be there, 5 lines, 6 lines, like that. So here 4 stanzas are there. 4 sets are there, and each consisting of 6 lines. So there are 4 stanzas, one point, and each stanza is consisting of 6 lines. Okay, and what kind of lines are they? So here you see, it was written in iambic tetrameter. Already you have learnt about the iambic pentameter in the poem Ozymandias. Okay, and here this is iambic tetrameter. So very shortly I am going to upload a beautiful video on metrical patterns. Please don't miss that, because these poems anybody can teach you, of course. So some important poems only I am going to teach you, and others I can't. And I am going to upload more videos on ode, ballad, sonnet, dramatic monologue, soliloquy, point of view. So such things only I want to teach you, because no other people are teaching you those things. So that's why I have made so many videos. They are ready to be uploaded. Okay, sonnet is ready, ode is ready, ballad is ready, all these are ready. They are going to be uploaded very shortly. So in this way, I am going to upload a beautiful video on metrical patterns. Please watch that. And following the rhyming scheme. What is that rhyming scheme? This iambic tetrameter always follows the rhyme scheme, that is AB, AB, CC. That is there. 6 lines are there. 6 lines take this rhyming scheme, right? And here the iambic tetrameter is a poetic meter, you know very well, in which each line consists of 4 iambic feet. Okay, you know very well about iambic pentameter. Pentameter means 10 feet will be there. But here only 4 iambic feet are there. 4 means 4 to the 8. Feet means what? Iambic feet means 1 unstressed plus 1 stressed. That is there. 1 stressed, that is 1 foot. So such into 4. 4 means 8 syllables will be there. 8 syllables. Okay, 8 syllables are going to be there in each line. In pentameter, 10 syllables will be there. 10. Pentameter means 10 syllables will be there. In this poem, you can find 4 iambic feet, okay, in each line. Okay, that point is there. And here, an iambic foot is a metrical unit. This iambic foot is a metrical unit made up of an unstressed followed by a stressed one. First unstressed will be there, and the next stressed will be there. Okay, and this will create a rhythmic pattern. When that is the case, when you read the poem, that will create some kind of rhythmic pattern, and that sounds like da dhum, da dhum, da dhum, something like that. It gives that kind of beautiful musical rhythmic pattern. Okay, and that sounds like da dhum. So I'm going to give you some examples also to make you understand that. Okay, and let's now go to learn about other things on the next slide. Therefore, a line of iambic tetrameter has 8 syllables. Already I have told you about that. 8 syllables. 1 iambic foot means unstressed, stressed, 1 foot. Like that, 4 iambic feet. 4 iambic feet means 4 twos are 8. Like that. 8 syllables are there, arranged in 4 pairs. Okay. All these 8 syllables are arranged in 4 pairs or feet of unstressed and stressed syllables. Okay. How? I'm going to give you one example. This pattern gives the iambic tetrameter. It's a characteristic rhythm and flow. Because of this iambic tetrameter, this pattern is there. Okay, unstressed and stressed. This pattern gives this iambic tetrameter its characteristic rhythm and flow, and it makes it give out what? A beautiful rhythm and flow, right? And all red color things are stressed, and blue color syllables are unstressed. I wandered lonely as a cloud. So here you have to stress. So here you look at this second, that floats on high over vales and hills. So that floats on high over vales and hills. Da dum, this kind of, when all at once I saw a crowd. So here in this way, when you read this poem in that way, you find that this kind of beautiful sweet music, see, that floats on high over vales and hills. So here that's why some letters are also ellipted, omitted here, not complete. Oh, even then you read it as over. So right there, that floats on high over vales and hills. So here, unstressed, stressed, unstressed, stressed, unstressed, stressed, unstressed, stressed. So how many are there? Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 to the 8 syllables. That is the pattern. So this pattern is followed throughout the poem. You can watch it. Okay, now let's move on to learn other important things about the poem. One day, what happened? This Wordsworth was returning home from a nearby village. That is the flashback of this poem. So he was returning home from a village along with his sister Dorothy Wordsworth. His sister was also beside him. Together they went to some nearby village to attend some function in their friend's house. Okay, and here on their return journey, what happened? This Wordsworth came across a host of golden daffodils beside the road. So on the way, he stopped at one place for rest or for some kind of relaxation. So when he just moved beside the road, he moved into the trees. There are all trees beside the road. So just he went inside, and there all of a sudden he could find what? A host of golden daffodils beside that lake, and was greatly thrilled by this delightful scene. On seeing that beautiful scenery of golden daffodils, he was very much thrilled. Okay, so he looked at those beautiful daffodils and recorded all that beauty in his mind. And after 2 years, remembering this beauty, he wrote this wonderful poem. That's the flashback story of this poem, right? And here, later, he wrote this poem at home, remembering the eye feasting. Eye feasting means very attractive, very beautiful scene of golden daffodils, that you know very well. And here the theme of daffodils is nature's beauty. What is the theme of this? What is dealt with in this poem means nature's beauty. That's all. Whatever is it talked about in one poem or lesson, that's called the theme. In today's video I made on the figures of speech part 2, I talked about the theme. Theme means that's nothing but the central idea of the poem, that central topic of the poem. Okay, so what is talked about in that poem is that. What is talked about in this poem? Nature's beauty. So that's the theme, and it's amusing and elevating effect on the human beings. As nature has its amusing effect on the people and elevating effect on the people. But we miss that beauty in nature, and we are trying to derive enjoyment from unnatural and artificial things of beauty. Nowadays, because of their being very busy with their everyday routine, are not able to watch the beautiful things of nature. They are missing all of them, right? Whatever it is. So here it will throw an amusing, elevating effect on the human beings. Okay, and one more point is there. Is a highly skillful use of vivid imagery and personification. In this poem, you can find beautiful imagery. Imagery means visualization. Visualize you when this poem is read out, you immediately visualize the scene. That's called imagery, and personification is also there. Okay, these two things brings the whole spectacular scene of golden daffodils to life, and this imagery and personification used in the poem will bring life to the spectacular scene of golden daffodils. And now let's move on to learn the poem. Okay, Daffodils, William Wordsworth. Now I am going to explain the poem to you. Okay, please listen to this poem. This poem was taught to me by B.S. Shastri in Jangam. When I was studying intermediate, the principal himself taught this poem daffodils. That was the first time I happened to listen to the beautiful poem daffodils. So here, after that, I too taught the intermediate students and other students in my life. That wonderful opportunity I could get. Right now, you see that I wandered lonely as a cloud that floats on high over vales and hills. So this is enjambment. This line is entering this line. So when that thing happened, that's called an enjambment. Okay, you know that very well. So here the poet says that one day he was wandering. He was wandering. Wandering means moving about. How? Lonely. Lonely means here you can say aimlessly. What's that? Aimlessly. He was moving about aimlessly. How? Like a cloud. Clouds don't have any aim at all. They move across the sky aimlessly. They don't know where they are going. They don't know why they are going because they don't have any aim at all. The clouds don't have a name, and here also this poet also says he doesn't have a name, and he was aimlessly roaming or moving about in that place. How? As a cloud, just like a cloud in the sky that floats. That floats means that glides gently. That floats on high over vales. Over vales means over valleys and hills. How simple the poem is. You too can read and understand this. I don't want to take more pains to explain all these things, but it's very simple. Just like a cloud that floats, that glides or floats on high over valleys and hills, he was wandering one day aimlessly at some place. Okay, when all at once I saw a crowd, a host of golden daffodils. See, this is again when all at once means all of a sudden. He was moving about, and all of a sudden he could find he saw a crowd, means a large number of, a host means a big number of, countlessly you can say, a large number of, a crowd, a host, both convey the same meaning. A large number of golden daffodils. So these are all the golden daffodils. Why are they called golden daffodils? Because their color is gold color. Therefore, they are called golden daffodils, gold colored daffodils. Now you look at on the screen there, how beautiful these are. Right. And where did he find these golden daffodils? Beside the lake, beneath the trees. You see, so here B, this is called alliteration. Please remember all those literary devices. Beside the lake and beneath the trees. Ba. So here this is called alliteration. When the consonantal sounds are repeated in two or more than two words in a line, in a poetic line, that's called alliteration. So here B, beside the lake, beneath the trees. Ba. That gives some kind of beauty to the poetry, right? And here beside the lake, where did he find these golden daffodils? Beside the lake. What is the name of that lake? When I was taught this poem by our principal, B.S. Shastri, he says it's Ull's water. So beside that lake, beneath the trees. And beside the lake, what can you find? You find some bank or shore. Okay, shore will be there, bank will be there, strand will be there. So here, beneath the trees, and there are some trees. This is the lake, take for granted. And beside that, there are some trees. Okay, there are some trees. So here, beside the lake, beneath the trees, countless daffodils are growing there. Okay, and he happened to see them. Okay, beside the lake, beneath means under the trees, right? Fluttering and dancing in the breeze. What are they doing when the poet has seen them? So when the poet has seen them, they are fluttering and dancing in the breeze. In the breeze means in the small wind. A small wind is called a breeze. So in the small wind, what are they doing? They are fluttering. Fluttering means tossing, or swaying, or moving, and dancing. That fluttering and dancing. See how nice these two words? Fluttering and dancing, swaying and dancing. So their swaying is looking like what? Like dancing. So to the poetic mind, is continuous as the stars that shine and twinkle on the Milky Way. How long have they stretched? Continuous means the golden daffodils have stretched. How far? Continuous as the stars. Just like the stars that shine and twinkle on the Milky Way, you find the stars in the Milky Way. Milky Way means the place where you find the stars in the sky is called the Milky Way. In Telugu, Palapunta, something you say that, where you find the stars. And as far as you can see, you can find the stars. So in the same way, here also, they are stretching as far as the poet could see. As far as the poet could see. How long? Oh, unending. That means never-ending line. In a never-ending line, those daffodils are stretched along that lake. This is, simile, very well. These daffodils are compared with stars, stretching unendingly. This is the meaning of these lines. And now we go to learn the meaning of the other lines. The second set of lines, look at the meaning of these lines. They stretched in never-ending line. These daffodils, how far have they stretched? In a never-ending line. In a never-ending line. How? Just like the stars in the sky that shine brightly, that twinkle brightly. That twinkle and shine brightly, just like those never-ending stars. These daffodils are also, have also stretched along the bank of the lake in a never-ending line, endlessly. There is no end to the line of that these flowers on the bank of the lake. That's the meaning of that. Along the margin of the way. Where are they spreading, stretching? Stretching means spreading or growing. They stretching means they grew in never-ending line. They are growing where? Along the margin of bay. Bay means here lake. Margin means bank. Along the bank of the lake, they were all growing in a never-ending way. That means endlessly. 10,000 saw I at a glance. So in this line, the poet implies some exaggeration. 10,000 saw. Did he count all those flowers? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 like that? He hasn't counted that. But here he means to say that 10,000 means a large number of, countless number of golden daffodils. That is what he wants to convey in this line. And here therefore he says 10,000 saw I at a glance. So this is an exaggeration, hyperbole. This is a hyperbole. He means to say he has seen a large number of, countless number of golden daffodils he has seen. So that's why 10,000 saw at a glance. It can be in one glance. In one glance means oka chupulo he could find 10,000. He wants to convey the golden daffodils are in large numbers there. Okay, that is tossing their heads in sprightly dance. What are these large number of daffodils doing? These large number of daffodils are tossing their heads in sprightly dance. Tossing their heads means, already I have told you, tossing that means swaying their heads, moving their heads in sprightly dance. Sprightly means joyfully. In joyful dance or in delightful dance. That means these large number of daffodils are tossing their heads in spriteful dance. That means in joyful mood. Okay. The waves beside them danced. Okay. Even the waves in the lake are also dancing. They are flowing like that means to the poetic vision, to the imagination, that looks as if the waves are also dancing. But they outdid. They means what? The daffodils outdid. Outdid means excelled or surpassed the sparkling waves in glee. Sparkling again means, what is it? Shining brightly in the sunlight. In the sunlight you find the water glistening, glittering and sparkling. Tala tala means, what did the daffodils do? They surpassed the sparkling waves, the brightly shining waves in glee. In glee means in joy, in happiness. That's the meaning. Right. A poet could not but be gay in such a jocund company. Any poet, you take an ordinary poet or a famous poet or any great poet, whoever he may be, if he is a poet, definitely he would enjoy this beautiful sight. He would definitely enjoy and drink the beauty of that beautiful sight. So here, a poet could not but be gay. Any poet cannot keep quiet without enjoying the beauty, without drinking the beauty literally. And in such a jocund company, jocund means joyful company. Here on one side, beautiful daffodils are there. On the other side, the waves of the lake are dancing. So this is a beautiful sight. That in that jocund company, in that jocund association, who will keep quiet without enjoying that beautiful sight? That is what he means to say here. Okay, now let's move on to learn other things. These are the last set of lines because I have tried my best to fit this poem in 3 slides. Okay, right. Okay, and here these are the last few lines of the poem. And here see, I gazed and gazed but little thought. Here the poet himself says, I gazed and gazed and gazed. This word is used 2 times. Gazed. Gazed means what? Look at something fixedly. Look at something fixedly without blinking the eyes. Without blinking the eyes, if you look at something fixedly, that is called gazing. Staring, beeripoyi chuddam, gudlappaginchi chuddam, something like that. So something like that, here I gazed and gazed. The repetition of these words tell you that he has watched that beautiful sight for a long time. But little thought. He has become suddenly thoughtful. And he says, what wealth the show to me had brought. And this poet could not understand what pleasure, what wealth, what delight it has brought to his mind at that time. He did not understand. He did not realize what wealth that beautiful scenery had brought to his mind, brought to his heart. He did not realize that. But what happened here? See, when on my couch I lie. But whenever I sleep on my couch, whenever I lie means what? Just you sleep on the bed in the resting position, in vacant or in pensive mode. Vacant means idle, or pensive means sorrowful. So when in vacant or pensive mode, a flash upon that inward eye, that the beautiful sight of the golden daffodils will flash on that inward eye. Inward eye means what? On his imagination. And that is only the bliss of solitude. This is only the advantage solitude brings to everyone. That means, being in, whenever you are in solitude, in loneliness, what happens? All distractions being absent, you remember the past, the things that you have seen earlier. Okay, and all those things will be flashing on your mind. Because other distractions are not there. You are not thinking about your job. You are not thinking about your neighbors. You are not thinking about your anybody else, anybody, anything. And simply when you lie on the bed, and these distractions, these disturbances are no more, what happens? All those past things, the past things that he had seen earlier would flash on his mind. So this is what Wordsworth tells us. Solitude has so many blessings, and this is one of that. And then my heart with pleasure fills. So inversion. Then my heart fills with pleasure. That must be the sentence. But here, then my heart with pleasure fills. So that means, whenever he remembers that beautiful scenery, which he had seen 2 years ago, flashes on his mind. Whenever that scenery flashes on his mind, his heart will be filled with pleasure. And when he was filled with pleasure again, in his heart begins to dance along with the daffodils. The message of this poem is, whenever you happen to view a beautiful scenery, preserve it in your mind. Because whenever you are in sorrowful or idle mood, you just remember that beautiful sight. Again, you will be filled with the same joy which you felt sometime in the past. And with this poem comes to an end. And we are now going to learn about the literary devices that are used in this poem. Okay, literary devices employed in the in daffodils. Okay, what is that? William Wordsworth employs various literary devices in his poem Daffodils in order to enhance the beauty of imagery. Why has he used literary devices? Means to enhance the beauty of imagery. Imagery means, I have already told you about this. Visualization is called imagery. That to enhance the beauty of imagery and emotional richness. To do these 2 things, he has employed several literary devices in the poem. And here you pay attention. Here are given some key literary devices used in the poem. What are they? Number 1, similes. Already I have told you about this. A simile is what? A comparison between the 2 unlike objects. A simile can be found in the opening line of the poem. In the very opening line of the poem, you can find a simile. What is that? Here you see that I wandered lonely as a cloud. In simile, what happens? We compare 2 things, 2 unlike objects, using the words as or like. So that is that. So here, I wandered lonely like a cloud or as a cloud. So comparison is there. Poet is comparing himself with this cloud. Okay. And here, let us, while wandering solitarily or aimlessly at the spot of the golden daffodils, the poet compares himself to a cloud floating in the sky. He compares himself to a cloud that is floating in the sky. that you know very well. Continuous as the stars that shine. Okay, another simile is also there. Continuous as the stars, continuous like the stars. They are growing like the stars, they're stretching like the stars. So here the poet compares the golden daffodils with the stars that shine bright in the sky, because they are uncountable like stars. So why is he comparing these daffodils with the stars? Means stars are countless, are uncountable, and daffodils are also uncountable. To make you understand that aspect, he is comparing these golden daffodils with these stars. And you go to the next one. Personification is there. When what is personification? Definition is given. When non-living objects are spoken of as having life, it is called personification. Non-living objects are said to be having life. Okay, and here you pay attention. Fluttering and dancing in the breeze. What are the daffodils doing? They are dancing, they are fluttering. How? Just like a human being. So human qualities attributed to these daffodils. This is called, therefore called personification. And here the poet personifies the daffodils and says they are dancing in the breeze as if they had life. As if they had life. They don't have any life, but they are set as if they had life, and life means human life. They are dancing just like the human beings, right? And this device makes them look more playful and lively. And whenever it is said so, fluttering and dancing, when these two words are said, you get some beautiful picture in your mind. Oh, they are fluttering and dancing in the little breeze. Okay, that gives, that makes them look more playful and lively, right? Imagery is there. Imagery means visualization. Wordsworth uses vivid imagery to paint a picture of the daffodils and their surroundings, such as golden daffodils. Whenever you remember, the word golden daffodils, the phrase golden daffodils is talked about, you immediately remember the color of them. See, look at these golden daffodils, how beautiful they are. You look at the screen, right? And here beside the lake, where are they? Beside the lake means immediately remember a lake and the flowers that are there beside it. Beneath the trees, under the trees, you understand. Tossing their heads in sprightly dance, tossing their heads. So you might not understand. You get a picture of the flowers dancing in the breeze or in sprightly dance. Happily they are dancing. You immediately remember that happy dance of the flowers. So this is called imagery, right? And alliteration, already I have told you about this. The repetition of consonant sounds in two or more words in a poetic line is called alliteration. This is the definition. Already in the videos, figures of speech 1 and 2, I have clearly explained all these things. Okay, as seen in the lines, beside the lake, beneath the trees, B. Okay, and dances with the daffodils. Dances with the daffodils. So this, Dada, Baba. So this is called alliteration. It adds musicality and rhythm to the poem. If the words are used in that way, okay, and you get some kind of musicality. The poem gets some kind of musicality and rhythm also. Okay, right. Metaphor means the direct comparison. Okay, no using like or as while comparing. So it's a direct comparison. How? Let us see that here. They flash upon that inward eye, which is the bliss of solitude. That means just like the bliss of solitude. Okay, beautiful scenery of daffodils is flashing on that inward eye. So that is the bliss of solitude. That's the bliss of solitude. That is just like the bliss of solitude. It is just like the bliss of solitude. It's not the bliss of solitude. It is just like the bliss of solitude. So here direct comparison can be found here. So here I have given some explanation also by saying that the flashing of the daffodils on his mental screen is like a bliss of solitude. The beautiful scenery of daffodils is flashing on his mental screen or on his imagination, and that is just like a bliss of solitude. Right, and it is a direct comparison, and therefore this is called a metaphor. The poet is directly comparing the appearance of daffodils with the bliss of solitude. So the clear explanation also I have given. The poet suggests that the memory of the daffodils brings him joy and peace even when he is alone. So here from these two lines, the poet suggests that the memory of the daffodils brings him joy and peace even when he is alone. So this is the meaning of these two lines, and I have already given you the meaning of these two lines. Hyperbole is there. Hyperbole means an exaggerated statement is called hyperbole. Hyperbole is nothing but overstatement. Okay, yes, and exaggerated statement or exaggeration direct. So here one hyperbole is there. What is that hyperbole? By saying 10,000 saw I at a glance. In the poem, the poet says 10,000 saw I at a glance, means the poet exaggerates the number of the daffodils. He has not counted all the daffodils one by one. Simply he says, 10,000 I saw, means, he is exaggerating the situation. That means he wants to tell you that there are countless number of golden daffodils growing all over that place. That's what he wants to tell you. So the poet exaggerates the number of the daffodils to emphasize their plentifulness. And here inversion is there. Inversion means sentence is getting inverted. Wordsworth uses inversion, reversing of the normal word order of the words by saying, what wealth the show to me had brought. What wealth the show to me had brought. So here, what wealth, okay, the show had brought to me. The show had brought to me. These to me should be at the end of the line. But here he says, what wealth the show to me had brought. This is called inversion, for emphasis and only to maintain the poem's rhythm. To maintain the rhythm of the poem, musicality of the poem, only for emphasis sake, he has used the words in the inverted form. Right. And now enjoyment. In this, be silent. Already you know this very well. Enjoyment means striding over. It's a French word. So striding over means leaping over, okay, moving from this to that other place. Is a continuation of sentences. Okay, what is enjoyment? Is a continuation of sentences, clauses from one poetic line to the next one without any terminal punctuation. Punctuation means, generally at the end of the poetic lines, there will be either a comma or a colon or a semicolon or a full stop, some question mark or exclamation mark, some punctuation mark is used. But whenever that is not used and one line enters the other line, the next line, then that is called enjoyment. So why does the poet use this kind of enjoyment? Means in order to allow the flow of thought to continue. So here this enjoyment is required. So here let me give you one example. In the first two lines of the poem, you can find this. I wandered lonely as a cloud that, no comma, no full stop is used here. You can find that. Okay, as a cloud that floats on high over vales and hills. So here this line is entering this line. This line is flowing into the second line. So that's why this is called enjoyment. Okay, one line flowing into the next line, the other line, that is called enjoyment. Okay, there's there's some kind of literary device. And end rhyme is there. The poem follows ABCC rhyme scheme, giving it a musical and harmonious quality. And here you see end rhyme, and at the end of the word you can find, if you look at the poem, you can find the end rhyme ABCC. ABCC. So the end rhyme is also there. Please, I cannot go back to the poem to show you that. So I'm very sorry. So the end rhyme you can find that is ABCC. Okay. With this beautiful video comes to an end. Hello, dear DSC candidates. Thank you so much for watching this video. And if you have any problems, you please let me know them in the comment section. With another beautiful video, I shall be back to you. Okay.